In this video, I'm going to talk to you about core strength. Why is that important? How can we assess it? And then what would be a sensible target for people? So if you get a client and the client says to you, oh, I want to work on my core strength, what do they actually mean by that? Well, we kind of all know that core strength is important, but we don't necessarily know why. So if you think about your spine's got muscles and connective tissues that help it function, but also stabilize it, which basically means prevent any unwanted movement. If we get unwanted movement in our spine, it can lead to injury. So having good core strength tends to keep our back in a safer position. It prevents it from getting injured. Now, if we've got good core strength, we can also generate a little more power in our legs and arms as well. So you might have heard about the expression, you can't fire a cannon out of a canoe. Well, that's what that means. It means if you've got a good, strong core, you can develop more power for the arms and legs. So it's injury prevention, but it's also going to be good for overall performance. So that's why we want to work on clients' core stability. How can we do it? Well, we like to use at Storm Fitness Academy the timed forearm plank test. It's very easy to administer, and there's also data out there. So we've referenced at the bottom of this diagram the journal article that we got this data from, and it's basically utilizing data that was collected from assessing a very large sample of individuals carrying out the plank test. And then a normative data table was produced that will categorize men and women based on where their result was within the sample tested. So if you're in the bottom 20%, that would be classified as poor. If you're in the top 20%, you'll be classified as excellent. So these normative data tables, I suppose they're a double-edged sword really, because generally they can be very motivating because they certainly help personal trainers figure out a target or a goal to work their clients towards. And if you're a fitness enthusiast and you're very motivated, of course, you're going to want to work on developing your forearm plank test score to get you in the top 20%, the excellent column or row. So it can be very motivating, but if you've got a client that's a complete beginner and you know is going to get a very poor result, you probably don't want to be telling them that is a poor result. So all you'll do is you'll record the time that they managed to hold it for, and you'll then set them a goal. Now, obviously, if somebody's in the poor bottom 20%, a good target would be to get them to at least be able to hold it for the length of time that corresponds to average. After that, they're going to work on building it up towards above average and then excellent. So you can see why tables like this, normative data tables, can be quite helpful for certainly when it comes to goal setting, and goal setting in itself is very motivating. But I know from working with personal trainers over the years, often we just don't really know what is a sensible target. But fortunately, there is some data out there on various exercises and things that help us create those targets and those goals. And this table is great for that. So if you're a fitness enthusiast or if you're PT working with clients, great target is to be able to get your clients, male or female, will certainly be able to hold a plank for, if they're a female, a minute 20 to a minute 30. If they're a male, minute 34 to a minute 44 and above really. So I hope that is helpful.